Hi guys, Ian here, welcome to another video. Actually this is going to be probably the second video on one day, and I'm just feeling there's a lot going on in my mind at the moment, and when that happens I just have to get it out into a video. I've just come back from a walk in the beautiful sunshine, beautiful clear blue sky, and I was looking at the sun and Ra of the Egyptians came to mind, and with that humanity's need to create gods. Now, this video is going to be entitled something like Humanity and the Creation of the Gods. But in all cultures, we see gods and goddesses. Now, firstly, why is this? Well, I think it's because, you'll have heard me say it a billion times, we are spiritual beings and deep calls to deep. And when we see something, especially ancient man, ancient humanity, who looked at things through different eyes than we do today. When ancient humankind looked at something amazing, they saw with spiritual sight what was behind it. Now let's just give an example of that, and let's use Ra, the sun god. Now when we look at the sun today, what we see, don't we, is a star, and we know so much about it. We know what it's made of. We know how hot it burns, we know how it burns, we even know how long it's likely to burn for and what will happen to it when it runs out of energy. That is the view of modern humankind, of which we are. But ancient humanity didn't have that knowledge, and as a result of that, I think they saw more deeply. And I think they saw much more deeply than we see today. We see the substance now. They saw the depths. They saw what was behind. They saw the world that sits behind the world in which we live, and in the cosmos in which we live. So they would look at the sun, wouldn't they, the Egyptians, and they would see something glorious, and it would rise every morning and it would sit high in the sky, and every night it would set. And they believed that it died, the sun died at night, and it went into the underworld, where it triumphed and was reborn again the next morning. So we have something amazing, beautiful to look at. We have something that dies yet is reborn. And ancient humanity personified that force, that power, that principle, and they made it Ra, the sun god. And we see solar gods in so many cultures where humanity has seen what the sun represents. And because we anthropomorphize, I'm clever to have said that, I usually get it wrong. Because we anthropomorphize things, we create it into a being that we can know and understand, and we feel we can interact with. And of course, not only did Ra die yet be reborn every night, but for the Egyptian, this had gone on for thousands of years. It was something that happened for their ancestors, and something that they believed would happen continuously. So Ra was not only a miracle of death and rebirth, he was immortal. And every morning Ra rose in the sky, and the ancient Egyptians believed that Ra was the creator, the giver and sustainer of life. They're not wrong, are they? They're exactly right, because the sun in our solar system gives, creates and sustains life. without our sun, we would not be here. We would not exist. No life on earth would exist, at least as we know it. So the Egyptians, with their spiritual sight, knew what we know today with our scientific sight. And so the gods, and I use gods small g, are born. The gods are the creation of humanity, inasmuch as the anthropomorphizing of them. Because as we've said, the sun is what it is. It is only the personality of Ra that we have added to it. I'm not saying when I say that humanity created the gods that the gods are not powerful, because they are. They are in a way thrice powerful. Firstly, because of the spiritual truth that they embody. Now, I've said this so many times in my videos, I'm at risk of boring you, but I believe that everything in manifest existence is a reflection of a spiritual principle. As above, so below. And below isn't only earth. The below is the manifest cosmos. So we have the spiritual principle. That is the first power, the power that sits behind the manifestation, the spiritual power that is reflected in the physical sun. Then we have the natural power of the sun, that the force and power, amazing power of a star, the second source of power, the second level of power. And the third level of power is that which humanity, and bear in mind we are spiritual beings, we are creators, we are a reflection of the one creator, we give to it. So we've talked previously about, the impact of visualization with emotion and clarity. So you think of how many thousands and thousands and thousands of people over the centuries and in the various cultures who have worshipped a solar god, they have had a clear mental picture, often focused in statues and art. They have had a fervent belief and love for their gods and goddesses, and into that image they have poured their love, their adoration, their worship. That is the third power. And so the god is born and embodied in an incredibly powerful astral thought form. It's amazing. It's amazing, really. I mean, I could just get lost in this. And so the gods are born. Not just the sun. There's rain gods, there's gods of the mountains, there's gods of the earth, the sky god, water god, goddess of love, the planets. It goes on. But each of these things have their spiritual power, their natural power, and the power that we have invested in them. The being that we have distilled all of that down into. But of course, I still believe, as do so many, and I'm going to quote it again, and I'll probably quote it in so many videos you're going to be sick of it. All the gods are one god. All the goddesses are one goddess, and there is one initiator. Because the one god and the one goddess is one spiritual being, the unity, the infinite. Why is it important that we know this? Because the more we know about the nature of the universe and of our world, the better we can understand it, the better we can work with it, the better we can cooperate with the will of the infinite, which is our spiritual growth, our spiritual perfection.